Good morning. Now we discuss the topic viscosity. Viscosity is familiar to you, isn't it? We know that viscous force it is arises between different layers of the fluids. It opposes the motion of the fluids. Okay, a body moving through a liquid or gas is retarded by viscosity. Here we consider the dynamics of some body. So if a body is moving through a liquid or gas, it is retarded by viscosity. It is a force due to the fluid. Viscosity arises because a body moving through a medium exerts forces that set the nearby fluid into motion. So according to Newton's law, we know that the fluids will exert a reaction force on the body. Okay. Viscosity arises because if a body moving through a medium, it exerts some force on the nearby fluid, it causes the fluid into motion. So by Newton's third law, the fluid exert a reaction force on the body. This force Fe is act along the line of motion and opposes the motion, and it is proportional to the velocity. So we can write the viscous force that is equal to minus C into V. The negative sign indicates that it opposes the motion, and it is also proportional to the velocity. Here, C is a constant that depends on the fluids and the geometry of the body. It is important that C is a constant that depends on the fluids and the geometry of the body. For objects of simple shape moving slowly through a gas at low pressure, C can be calculated from first principles. For simple shapes or regular shapes. In the case of a sphere of radius r moving at low speed through a common fluid like water or air, C is given by 6 pi eta r, where eta is called the dynamic viscosity of the fluid or the coefficient of viscosity of the fluid. Then the force F is equal to 6 pi eta RV. Is the relation is familiar to you? F is equal to 6 pi eta R into V. This relation is called Stokes' law. Stokes' law is connected to viscosity. Now we consider a motion in a viscous medium. In the previous slide, we have go through that the viscous force F is equal to minus C into V, where C is some proportionality constant that depends on the fluid and the geometry of the body. Here we consider a body of mass m. It is released with velocity v0 in a viscous fluid, and it is retarded by a force Cv. From the statement here, it is retarded by a force. The force acting opposing the motion. So here we can write the force is equal to minus C into V. So it is retarded by, it is negative sign indicates that it is opposes the motion, then retardation occurs. And here we consider that a body of mass m, it is released with a velocity v0. Initial velocity is v0. First, we have to write the equation of motion. Okay. Here we consider only the viscous force. Okay. So the only force on the body is viscous retarding force. The equation of motion is m into dv by dt. We know that. To write the equation of motion, we have to use F is equal to the Newton's second law, that is F is equal to m into A. Here A is the acceleration. Here in the case of motion is explained in terms of velocity and also the viscous force proportional to the velocity. Here we represent the Newton's law as F is equal to mass into, in the place of acceleration, we write dv divided by dt, isn't it? M into dv by dt, it is equal to what? F is equal to ma. And in the left side, we have to write the effective force. We know that the force is minus Cv. Then when we are arranging the expression, we taking this quantity into the right side, then m dv by dt plus cv is equal to 0. This is the equation. Okay. Then here we dividing the equation by m, then dv by dt plus c by m into v is equal to 0. Okay. Just we divided the equation throughout by m, then dv by dt plus c by m into v is equal to 0. Here the above equation is a vector equation because of here the velocity is a vector quantity, and we use here it is the bold letters. It denotes it is vector quantity, and here we know that the force is along the line of motion, then only the magnitude of the velocity changes, not the direction. Only the magnitude of the velocity changes, not the direction. So we can simply use the scalar equation. Okay, B replaces the vector, the velocity vector by its magnitude. So we write dv divided by dt plus c by m into v. Here we use only scalar quantity. Here we use only the speed or the magnitude of the velocity. Okay, this is the equation. So to obtain the variation of v, how the velocity changes, for obtaining that we have to integrate the differential equation. So for integrating this differential equation, we can use a method of separation of variables. In mathematics, we will study the solving of differential equation. One of the method is separation of the variable. It is very simple. Here, there are two variables, velocity and time. Here, there are two variables, velocity and time. So, we have to arrange, or we have to separate the variables to one side. Take v to the left, the velocity, the variable velocity or the variable v into one side and the variable t to other side. Okay, so look at the expression. The expression is what? dv divided by dt plus c by m into v is equal to 0. First we write dv divided by dt is equal to minus c by m into v. But here in both sides v contains, okay, so we taking dt to this side and v into this side, we can express it as dv by V is equal to minus C by M into dt. So here C and M are constants. Here C and M are constants. And the velocity component is arranged to the left side. Then the integration is very easy. Here, if we integrating the equation, we can integrate the left side using the variable v and the right side using the variable t. So on integration, we can write look at here. So when we integrating this, we can write integral dv divided by v is equal to integral minus C by M into dt, or that is equal to, here we can write it is equal to 1 by v dv, that is equal to, I take the constant minus C by M outside, minus C by M integral dt. We know that after integration, we have to apply the limits, integration limits. So here our aim is to obtain the instantaneous value of velocity for when we starting the discussion, we take that the initial velocity is 0, or we starting from t is equal to 0 to t. Initially we said t is equal to 0 initial time, and up to t is equal to t. We have to integrate up to this one, and in such a interval, the velocity is, what is velocity? At initial velocity is v0. We have mentioned in the statement, and the final velocity as taken as v. Okay, then applying the limit, we have to integrate from 0 to t. In the same time, the limit at the v side must be equal to v0 to v. Okay, this is written here. Look at here. Integral v0 to v 1 by v dv, that is equal to minus 0 to t c by m into dt. Note the correspondence between the limits. V is the velocity at the time t, and v0 is the velocity at time 0. On integrating this quantity, integral of 1 by v dv. Have you know integral 1 by x dx? What is integral 1 by x dx? It is logarithm of x, ln of x. It is natural logarithm. Okay, it is ln of x. So when we integrating this quantity, first we have to write on integration I write the step here. Integral 1 by v dv. Here the variable is x and integration over x. Then here 1 by v dv, variable is v. Then 1 by v dv gives the result ln of v. In the limit, we have to apply the limit v0 to v. Okay. That is equal to what? That is equal to here minus c by m is taken outside and the integrated quantity is t. It is in the limit 0 to t. Then we apply the limit here. First, we have to apply the upper limit, then the lower limit. Here, the upper limit is t and the lower limit is 0. Then there is no need to apply the lower limit. So here, in the right side, we have to apply the upper limit only. Then minus c by m into t. Okay. The right side is okay. And in the left side, first we have to apply the upper limit. Then we applied the upper limit ln of v. We know that in integration, we have to apply the upper limit, then minus the lower limit. Okay, minus ln of v0. That is equal to what? That is equal to minus c by m into t. Okay. Okay. Then what is ln v minus ln v0? Ln of a minus ln of b is equal to what? It is ln of a by b. So we can write ln v minus ln v0 is equal to ln of v by v0, that is equal to minus c by m into t. Then we know that logarithm base 10 of a quantity 400, that is equal to 2. Logarithm of 100 with the base 10 is equal to 2. Okay. We know we have a quantity. It is logarithm of y. Logarithm with base 10 of y is 3. We have given that quantity. Then to obtain y, what we have to do? We have to take anti-logarithm. We have to take anti-logarithm of 3. Then we will get the quantity y. In the similar way, ln of y is equal to some z, some quantity z. Then to obtain y, we have to take not anti-logarithm. Here it is natural logarithm. So here we have to take exponent or e raised to z. Here we have to take y. To obtain y, we have to take the exponential of the other. So here in this case also, to obtain v by v0, we have to take the exponential on both sides. Then taking exponential on this side, the we will get v by v0, that is equal to exponent of minus c by m into t. Okay. From this equation, we can conclude that the velocity is decreases exponentially, isn't it? Here, the expression is v is equal to, we can write it in this way, v is equal to v0 into e raised to minus c by m into t. Okay. The velocity decreases exponentially in time. If we let tau is equal to m by c, here we take tau is equal to m by c. Here tau is equal to m by c. Then c by m is equal to 1 by 2. When we substituting this, c by m is equal to 1 by 2 in this expression, we will get v is equal to v0 e raised to minus t by 2. Okay. This is the expression. V is equal to v0 e raised to minus t by 2. Here, when we looking at this expression, v is equal to v0 e raised to minus t by 2. This is time t and it is the tau. Then the tau must have the dimension of time, because of here it is velocity, then here the dimension must be the velocity. Okay, so both sides the dimension must be velocity, so this quantity must have dimensionless, so the tau must have dimension of time. Okay, and so it is, tau can be said that it is a characteristics type, and we can define tau in such a way that just if we just substitute t is equal to tau in this expression, we will get v is equal to v0 e raised to minus t by 2, that is equal to e raised to minus 1. Okay. From this expression, we can say that here, look at the expression v is equal to v0 into e raised to minus 1, or the instantaneous velocity is equal to e raised to minus 1 times initial velocity, or the ratio of v by v0 is equal to e raised to minus 1. Okay. So t is a characteristic time, and it is the time for the velocity to drop by a factor of e raised to minus 1. Okay. So tau is the characteristic time for the system. And it is the time for the velocity to drop by a factor of e raised to -1, or that is equal to 0.37 of original velocity. Okay. This relation can be represented using a diagram. Okay, this is a diagram. Here in the y-axis, it is the velocity, and in x-axis, it is the time. So when time t is equal to 0, the initial velocity, it is v0. Okay, and when time increases, the velocity decreases exponentially. At a particular time, t is equal to tau, the characteristic time. Then at that time, the velocity becomes 0.37 into v0. Okay. The initial slope must be equal to v0 divided by 2. Okay. This is the end of the session. Thank you.